We flew Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong, and by 9 AM we're at our hotel, the Shangri-La, and being checked in to an upgraded room. This room has a harbour view, so we can see the wonderful sights of Hong Kong. After a couple of hours sleep, we head off for a little exploration. The Heritage 1881 development has been completed since we were last here, and it's all decked out for the Chinese New Year, which has just happened. I think he's something to do with the New Year celebrations as well. You can actually see Victoria Peak today. Using our octopus cards, we head off by public transport to Aberdeen Harbour to visit the Jumbo floating restaurant. You can come and check out the live fish before you order them. Back in the city centre, there's no shortage of high-end shopping centres. And at the other extreme, there's the ladies' market. 7 o'clock Monday morning, and the view from our hotel room window. And there she is, safely alongside on Ocean Terminal. About 6 PM and Artemis is slipping away from Ocean Terminal to take us on our first leg of this grand Asian voyage. Artemis heads northeast through the Strait of Taiwan and the East China Sea to Yokohama, the port for Tokyo. We've opted not to take a tour to Tokyo, but to stay in Yokohama, where the weather is cold, about 5 degrees centigrade, and very sleety and getting worse. We had a look round Chinatown. Restaurants display models of their food. From the observation deck of the 106-metre marine tower, we can just about see Artemis in port. Apparently on a clear day you can see Mount Fuji. The view of the waterfront park, where we'll go next. We had intended to spend the afternoon exploring another part of Yokohama, but the weather just got worse, so we didn't. After a full day at sea, we arrive in Hiroshima, and in the morning we take a ship's tour to Miyajima Island. Miyajima is a holy island with many shrines, the main one being Itsukushima, a Shinto shrine. The shrine took its present form in the mid-16th century, and it's built partly on stilts to protect it against flooding. Coins have been inserted into this old tree trunk for good luck. This is the Buddhist library. Lots of foods were on sale, many of them strange to us, but this shop was making sweet pastries, which we had a couple of, and they were very nice. It's Oyster Festival time in Japan, and all these Japanese people queuing patiently for various kinds of food. And a traditional show going on. In the afternoon, we do our own tour of Hiroshima city centre, starting at the atomic dome, symbol of the atomic explosion here in 1945. Around the Peace Park are many monuments. This is the Children's Monument, the Eternal Flame with the museum behind it. This old tree survived the atomic explosion. The concrete reconstruction of the keep of Hiroshima Castle dates from the mid-1950s, the original being destroyed in 1945. When we get back to Artemis, we discover that the Oyster Festival is in full swing here as well. It would appear that you can hire everything that you need for a successful oyster barbecue. Overnight, Artemis sails between the Japanese islands of Honshu and Kyushu to arrive at Busan, South Korea's second largest city, where in the last 24 hours they've had over 1.5 meters of snow, the worst for 50 years. The snow puts the kibosh on the welcoming celebrations and also means that our planned excursion has to be dramatically curtailed because all the streets out of the city are blocked. Our trip begins with a visit to the city's fish market. Now, a lot of the outside stalls were closed, but inside the market was thriving. This is just about the cleanest fish market we've ever been in. Downstairs, virtually all the fish were displayed live. Upstairs it's mainly dried fish of many different varieties. There are also restaurant areas where, having bought your live fish downstairs, you can have it cooked and eat it up here. The next part of our trip was the cultural show. Xingyang is the port for Beijing, but we've opted to take a ship's full day tour to see the Great Wall. The section we're visiting is about a 2.5-hour coach trip from Xingyang at Huangyaguan. There are retail opportunities scattered around. Some of the crew members visiting the wall climbed higher and further than we did. ready to get back on the coaches now for the return trip to the port. A full day at sea brings us to Shanghai, and the shuttle bus drops us by the Yuan Bazaar, which is the reconstructed old town of Shanghai. The crowds are mainly Chinese, no doubt still celebrating the New Year holidays. We escape the crowds to take a stroll towards the Bund. Across the river, the Pudong Financial District, the centre of modern Shanghai. And there's Shanghai's new cruise terminal, which Artemis did not dock at. In the first part of the 20th century, the Bund was the centre of foreign control of Shanghai and China. We stopped at the restored Art Deco Peace Hotel for a nice lunch. Then we make our way back to the old town via this old signal station, which is now a restaurant. We take a look around the restored Yuyuan Gardens, which were originally laid out in the 16th century. A day and a half at sea brings us to Hong Kong, and early afternoon Artemis is entering Victoria Harbour between Kowloon and Hong Kong Island. There are some stark contrasts between the types of buildings you can see. Passing the old airport at Kai Tak, where the new cruise terminal is being built. Dead ahead, the conference centre, where the British flag was lowered for the last time in July 1997. The Shangri-La Hotel, where we stayed for a couple of days before the beginning of this cruise. The clock tower marks the Star Ferries terminal. The West Kowloon Cultural District under construction. The evening view from Victoria Peak, where we went for a meal. The next day we used Hong Kong's public transport system and our octopus cards to visit Lantau Island, and specifically the Big Buddha. The statue was completed in 1993. We didn't climb the 268 steps to the statue itself, and neither did we purchase a coupon to go into the monastery and have a vegetarian meal. That evening we sailed away in Artemis for the next leg of the Grand Asian Voyage.